Madam President, it's Thursday, and it's my favorite time of the week. I get to come down to the Senate floor, typically every Thursday, and talk about an Alaskan who's doing something amazing for their community, their state, maybe even their country. Heck, this one's kind of the world. What I refer to as the Alaskan of the Week. Love doing it. We have a really special Alaskan of the Week this week, who I'm going to talk about, Lydia Jacoby, a very special 17-year-old who's from Seward, Alaska. And we're so excited about this. Those of you who've been following our Alaskan of the Week speeches might notice this is the first new poster board we've had ever. So this is the poster board of the Alaskan Week for Lydia, because we're so excited about her. But before I talk about Lydia, I always like to say a little bit about what's going on in Alaska. A lot of people always ask about the light, curious about the light in the summer, particularly as we just had our summer solstice. And if you want to come up and really see, come on up. We're open. We'd love to have you. Trip of a lifetime. If you're thinking about coming to Alaska, come to see it yourself this summer. Every American should come on up. But I'll give you a hint on the light that's happening right now. If you were in Seward, Alaska, where Lydia is from, the sun will rise at 4:33 a.m. and set at 11:26 p.m. with a loss of just 36 seconds from the summer solstice, which occurred a few days ago. So that's a lot of sunlight. And really, it doesn't really even get dark when the sun goes down, just for a little bit. So it's a great time to be in the state. Come on up. Great time to be in Alaska, and I can't wait to get home for the recess, our 4th of July. Lots of sun, lots of excitement, and there's particularly a lot of excitement around this young, intrepid Alaskan, Lydia, who on Tuesday in Omaha, Nebraska, swam the second fastest time in the world in the women's 100-meter breaststroke finals in the Olympic trials. She's the second fastest breaststroker in the world, and she's only 17. This cinched her spot to represent the United States in the Summer Olympics in Tokyo. And Madam President, this is an incredible and, we'll admit it, rather unlikely story that we're all so proud of in Alaska. Now, with regard to the Olympics, Alaskans typically punch way above our weight. Winter Olympics, we really punch above our weight, with many, many Alaskans making the Olympic team for the Winter Olympics every 4 years. We've done well in the Summer Olympics as well. Olympic veteran rugby player Alev Kettler from Eagle River will be competing this year. And shortly we'll be learning if Ali Ostrander, who's a really amazing young woman, steeplechase champion, and another incredible athlete, will be in the Olympics this year. We're going to learn soon. But we've never sent a swimmer to the Olympics. You don't always equate Alaska and swimming. She'll be the first, and Alaskans across the state are cheering on Lydia. So let me tell you a little bit about this remarkable young woman. Her parents, Leslie and Richard, are both boat camp captains. Leslie is the educational coordinator for the Marine Science Explorers Program at the Kenai Fjords Tours. Rich is a maritime instructor at the Alaska Vocational Technical Center, what we call AVTech. By the way, Madam President, a little aside, AVTech does great work. I've really enjoyed my visits there, so Rich, keep up the great job there. He is also a guide for Arctic and Antarctic trips. So that's Mom and Dad. They moved to Alaska. Well, they moved to Alaska when Lydia was 9 years old. Richard came to the state in 1992, fresh out of college. And like so many, they fell in love with the state and stayed. They raised their daughter, as I mentioned, in the town of Seward, Alaska. A little under 3,000 people there, just hours south of Anchorage. It's nestled between Resurrection Bay and soaring mountains. Its motto is Alaska starts here. I love Seward, Alaska. I get there as much as I can. Going to be there in a couple weeks, actually. And it's known for stunning landscapes, a strong, generous community, amazing people. So if you're visiting Alaska, you got to go to Seward. So Leslie and Richard signed Lydia up for swim classes when she was just a toddler. She joined the swim club when she was 6 years old. When she was 10, she was selected for the Alaska Swim Zone team. State qualifying meets allowed her to go on trips. In between all of this, she was a musician, learning to play the guitar. She played at folk festivals. She was also in theater and in track. All around great athlete, all around great young woman. As she excelled at swimming, her parents continued to be, in their words, quote, surprised and amazed. Obviously, she has a deeply competitive streak, but you wouldn't know it when you meet her. Her parents were surprised, quote, in the right setting, that streak can really be turned on, Rich said. When she has a lousy race, she just shrugs it off. Her dad remembered one of her first swim meets when halfway across the pool, she inhaled some water. She jumped out, didn't want to get back in. Well, she's back in. As her dad said, she's come a long way. One of her coaches, Solomon D'Amico, describes her as, quote, kind, quiet, and confident. He says she has an intense fire, and when she sets her mind to something, like the Olympics, she goes for it. Now, neither of her parents pushed her too hard. They wanted the drive to come from her, not them, but it certainly did come from her. Solomon, her coach, is a former Marine and athlete. Alaska is full of intense runs, marathons, ultramarathons, but one of the most challenging is in Seward, Alaska. It's called the annual Mount Marathon Race, 4th of July, in Seward, a grueling 1.5-mile climb almost straight up and straight back down Mount Marathon. He's run this 24 years in a row. That's tough. Solomon, her coach. Solomon really didn't know much about swimming when he started coaching the small Seward swim team. In fact, Seward, Alaska doesn't even have an Olympic-sized swimming pool. But they all worked hard. He encouraged them to be the best that they could be, to enjoy life, but to also lift weights. Strength, Solomon said, is needed to excel in swimming, particularly at the breaststroke. Lydia took to the weight rooms. She swims between 5 to 7 days a week, 1 hour to 90-minute sessions. She lifts weights about 3 hours a week. And as Solomon has said, you want athletes to be more process than outcome driven. Lydia fell in love with all the hard work. No one was ever going to give her a hard time if she missed practice or a session, but every single opportunity she had to swim, she would be there. Well, Madam President, on Sunday, Lydia will head to Hawaii to train with Team USA. Then a few weeks later, she'll head to Tokyo. Now, because of COVID restrictions, unfortunately, her parents won't be there to watch in person. Her father said, it's a bit of a weird thing to send your kid across the world, but she's an experienced traveler, and there are great people involved with USA Swimming. We are over the moon proud of her, her dad said, and so are we. We are so proud of you, Lydia. You are a role model for so many aspiring swimmers, not just across Alaska, but across the country. So thank you for representing Alaska and our nation so well. Good luck in the Olympics. Congratulations on your success, and congratulations on being our Alaskan of the Week.